This week on HomeKit News, the Smartmi Air Purifier E1 with HomeKit. Welcome back everybody. In today's video we're looking at the Air Purifier E1, and you might wonder what artistic flair has to do with an air purifier. Well, simply put, the company offers replacement filters with artwork printed on them like these, and I'm guessing Van Gogh didn't see that coming. The E1 comes with a standard HEPA 13 filter with a grey fleck cover as standard, and this is going to be suitable for small to medium rooms like a kid's bedroom, a kitchen or a small guest room up to 205 square feet. Of course, like nearly all Smartmi products, this works with Apple Home, Google and Amazon, and this uses standard 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, so no hub or bridge is required. There's not too much in the box on this occasion, so we do get the air purifier itself, of course, and this comes with an included HEPA 13 filter with a standard cloth cover. There's a removable metal floor stand, which I'll fit later on, a manual in a few different languages, and finally some wall mount fittings, which I'll look at in more detail later. It's also worth noting that this purifier has actually been around since last year, but has only now begun to see wider availability in North America. It has also garnered some awards, including those from IF and the Red Dot Awards in 2023. Let's dive a little deeper now, and on closer inspection the front is the filter basically, and it's very easy to remove with just a gentle tug from the top. As you can see, this is a HEPA 13 filter with a layer of active carbon to take care of odours and VOCs. With the filter removed, you can see the fan that draws in air to clean it. There's a standard HomeKit code on the device too, and then there are even instructions on how to change the filter. Refitting the filter is probably one of the easiest I've encountered so far, so you don't even have to move it from its location to do so. On the base of the E1 are two holes for the metal stand which I mentioned earlier, which is also very easy to install or remove, so once set it up it looks like this, and very nice it looks too. Onto the top of the E1, and it's home to a simple control panel in bright orange with a power button and fan speed button. Very minimalist. So how do air purifiers work? Like this one, for example. It's actually very simple. The fan draws in air from the surrounding area, whereupon the filters capture things like particulate matter, hair and odours, leaving the remaining cleaned air to be forced out the top for you to breathe more easily. There's not a lot more to it than that, basically. I mentioned wall mount fittings earlier, and what's interesting about the E1 is the option to have it mounted to a wall with the help of a pair of screws. Once fitted, the screw rests inside the holding slots at the back, and there are 3 holes in total, so you can mount it in portrait or landscape. This is essentially why Smartmi also offers covers with artwork on them, so it serves to blend in nicely with your home decor. The E1 is HomeKit compatible, of course, but as I already use a few Smartmi devices, I'm going to add it to the Smartmi app first. As it uses Bluetooth as well as Wi-Fi, once powered up, the app detects its existence. I then simply enter my Wi-Fi details and it begins the installation, which takes around 1 minute. Once added, I immediately have access to the E1 and its settings. This includes on and off as well as 3 preset fan speeds. I can control the LEDs on the front of the E1, which is useful if used in a bedroom, for example, as well as set up timers, and I can even keep track of the filter life. Now, all of these options are available in Apple Home anyway, and so I'll just add the E1 to Apple Home from within this app. As with any HomeKit product, I just need to scan the QR code and follow the on-screen instructions. It's now in Apple Home, and as with any purifier, I get a single tile, a slider control and an on-off button. Note that unlike some air purifiers that have specific fan speed presets, the slider doesn't snap to the E1's own presets. I did mention this to Smartmi, who said they'll be remedying this via an update. I can check the filter life and condition from here, as well as add it to scenes or automations. What you may notice missing in the settings is any mention of air quality. This is because, unlike the company's other air purifiers, the E1 doesn't have a PM2.5 sensor. Now, in my view, for anyone with a couple of decent air quality sensors, this is not going to be an issue. And in fact, in some ways, having an external sensor is better, which I'll touch on later. Back to the device itself, and the controls are pretty basic, but I think are also visually well designed. Pressing the power button simply controls power, with an LED to show that it's both on and connected to your Wi-Fi network. You press the fan buttons to cycle through the 3 preset speeds, with individual LEDs to represent each of those speeds. Next, I'm going to do a quick test with a simple automation using one of my favourite air quality sensors, the Qingping Air Monitor Lite. So in this instance, if air quality drops below excellent, set the E1 to 100%. I've just lit a piece of card and let the smoke trigger the sensor, which will in turn trigger the E1 to turn on, and as expected, it does just that. So the reason I think an external sensor might be better is that many built-in sensors really only give measurements for the immediate air quality around the device, which is then made further inaccurate as the air surrounding the device gets cleaner, when the rest of the room is less so. To me, a separate sensor gives you a lot more choice. On to filter replacements, and the filter and cover that come with the device is very nice and neutral, but it should be noted the cover is part of the filter, so it can't be removed as such. Here's a replacement filter with a cat design on the front, although I'm not really a cat person if I'm honest. Still, it looks nice and the material is thick enough to show the print, but also loose enough to let air pass through. There are other designs available, and Smartmi sell these as triple packs, although you can also buy this standard one as well. Smartmi focus mostly on air purifiers amongst other things, and I've tested most of them. Before the E1 was the P2, which doesn't seem to be available at present, but the plus points are, if you can find it, that it has a built-in battery, so it's cordless, a full colour LED display, and a mood light. The Smartmi Air Purifier 2 is amongst the largest in the Smart lineup and is therefore a lot more expensive. For that you do get a built-in UV sterilisation lamp, and the top grill is removable for cleaning. The company's first HomeKit compatible purifier was the P1, which comes in 2 colourways, has a leather carry handle and uses the same filters as the P2. Finally, to the latest model, the E1, which is the cheapest, although not exactly cheap if I'm honest. It's the only model to feature art covers and the option to wall mount it, however. If you're wondering if the E1 looks at all familiar, IKEA did release a similar product. I'll let my friend from Sweden announce the name, so take it away, Jon.
IKEA Förnuftig.
Although it's massively cheaper than the E1, it also looks a lot cheaper, in my opinion, as well as having half the room coverage and no smart home integration, so not really a good comparison in some ways, I guess. If you're looking for a smart IKEA purifier, then there's the... sorry, can you do the honours again please, Jon?
IKEA Starkvind.
Now this is cheaper at around $100, but for smart home integration you will need the IKEA Dirigera Hub at $69, which brings the total price to just under $170. I feel it's also important to point out another air purifier on the market, the Air Purel or the AP2. This has decent specs as well as offering a large LED display. It uses HomeKit over Thread, which is great for Apple Home users, although because of this it won't work with Matter, meaning it also won't be of use to Google, Amazon or SmartThings users, unfortunately. Finally, to the pros and cons, and I do actually love the design with the more flat shape being perfect for small spaces, and the fact that you can wall mount this means that you could potentially save even more space. Although Smartmi aren't the first to do art style covers for devices, with IKEA first doing this with their picture frame symphonic speakers, it's nice to see it for an air purifier for a change. Now I love hubs personally, but for those that don't, this uses standard 2.4 GHz Wi-Fi, so no hub required. I've mentioned my lack of concern over a built-in sensor in this device, but if you do want something to turn on and off autonomously without a separate sensor, you might be better off with the Smartmi P1. The only issue I really have is the price, which seems pretty high, if I'm honest, for an air purifier for small to medium rooms. It's still the cheapest one in the company's range, but for whatever reason, costs for the whole range has gone up markedly. Still, this does offer a couple of features not seen in most smart air purifiers on the market today, so in general I think it's a good product. I just wish it was a little cheaper. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and if you have any questions I'll always endeavour to reply. In the meantime, if you enjoyed today's video, please do like, share, and definitely subscribe for more content. As always, stay safe, and I'll leave you with these words of wisdom from Nora Ephron, who said, "When your children are teenagers, it's important to have a dog so that someone in the house is happy to see you."